Welcome to another knowledge session with HLB HAMT, where we simplify complex topics that are shaping the future of business and compliance in UAE. Over the past few weeks, we have received several questions from finance professionals and our clients around the new e-invoicing framework. From concerns about additional tax liability to whether it will increase compliance and administrative efforts. We felt that this is the right time to discuss and clarify these important points. Before we begin, let's look at the quick timeline of e-invoicing journey in UAE. The initial implementation by the Ministry of Finance was announced in 2024. In 2025, Ministry has released a detailed e-invoicing framework. Today, we are diving into one of the most significant transformations in UAE's tax landscape called e-invoicing. What does it mean? How does it work? And most importantly, how will it impact the business across the Emirate? To help us decode this and provide valuable insights, I'm joined by Mr. Vimal Ramachandran, Director, Technology Services at HLB HAMT. Welcome, Mr. Vimal Ramachandran.
Thank you, Mr. JK. I'm very excited to join the session today.
Mr. Vimal, we have been hearing about e-invoicing, Peppol framework, five-corner model, etc. So can you just clarify or decode what is this topic about? What are the complexity involved in e-invoicing? Is it so complex topic?
Yeah. In simple words, e-invoicing is just going completely digital, where invoices are prepared by the VAT registered businesses. It will go through the streamlined, structured format of government approved systems, and it will be delivered to the customer seamlessly. So it's just like that you are sending a WhatsApp message in a safe, secured method where you can trace and track whether the recipient has received it and things like that. So similar way, easy fashion, you can send this e-invoicing to the customer, and you can deliver it to the customer, and customer will receive it in a simple format.
So you are trying to say that this is not very complex topic, right?
Correct. It's very simple to use. It's going to be very easily, UAE is going to adopt a very easy method, and the government and the businesses will be able to adopt that very easily.
The reason I'm asking this question is many of my customers, when I meet them, they're asking me a question. See, what is this e-invoicing? E-invoicing is just, converting my manual invoice process to digital format, or simply e-invoicing, electronic invoicing. Is that the whole mechanism, or is it something beyond that?
Yeah, so there are some methods, there are some structured way of things has to be taken care. So minor changes are there, which every VAT registered business has to adopt. So once they start adopting it, it's going to be seamlessly implemented to every business, and it's going to be very easy and simple.
Okay, clear.
Yes. So when you compare compare UAE with other jurisdictions of GCC countries, what do you think about it?
See, e-invoice is a global topic. It's not a local topic anymore. So, but however, different jurisdictions are following different methodology for implementing e-invoicing. Say, for example, Saudi Arabia implemented with a different model. EU follow Peppol model. Mostly European countries are following Peppol model of e-invoicing. Oman follow Peppol model. In UAE also, they have the ministry has come up with a Peppol model. But the model, whatever the model we adopt, the methodology of e-invoice remains same. The framework is same. What you mentioned initially, the mechanism works in the same fashion. But the model they adopt may be little different on each country. So jurisdiction-wise, it will change. But in totality, e-invoice is a global topic. Mr. Vimal, I've been hearing this term five-corner model. When the framework of e-invoice has been published by Ministry of Finance. So what is this five-corner model? Can you just explain?
Yes, very good question. Actually, traditionally, the Peppol was following a four-corner model. Okay, recently they introduced, I think Malaysia and UAE is the pioneers in adopting to the five-corner model. So let me break it down. So the seller system, like the ERP system in any of your companies, customer companies are using. So those will be the corner one. the seller system ERP system application.
So the seller is the point corner one.
Corner one, correct. So the seller and their system is called as the corner one. The corner two is going to be the government approved service provider.
Okay.
So that will be the corner two, and from corner two the invoices will be data will be verified and it will be passed to the corner three, where will be the receivers appointed service provider. So the receiver, like seller also appointing a service provider, receiver also will be appointing another service provider, right? So that service provider will become corner three.
Okay.
Then the receiver's system will be the corner four. So this is the traditional method of four corner system. Where the new Peppol system has introduced corner five, which is going to be connected with this corner two and corner three systems, where automatically these invoices received correctly and accuracy, everything will be measured, and it will be a copy will be placed in this corner five model. So from this corner five, the governments will be able to read the system and they will be able to do a lot of analysis and verifications.
Okay, so basically what you are trying to say is, each pillar has a different role on the whole invoicing framework.
Correct.
So pillar 1, pillar 2, pillar 3, pillar 4, pillar 5, it works at a different geography. It can be in different geography, it can be at different points.
Correct.
And then, but finally, it's navigating towards generation of a digital invoice.
Correct.
That is the last process or the last stage.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So basically, the corner 1 to corner 4, the invoice will be received seamlessly within few seconds, like less than 30 seconds or something like that. It will be received. The receiver will receive the invoice very fast. And it will be also the corner 1 people also, the people who are sending the invoice also will receive a acknowledgement message that the receiver has received it and accepted it.
Accepted it.
Yes. So those kind of things will be very seamlessly done. And this is going to be a fastest method which UAE is going to adopt.
Okay. And Mr. Vimal, we have been hearing this terminology in the framework about Peppol. This terminology, Peppol terminology, is everywhere in the framework.
Yeah.
And as per my understanding, UAE has adopted or they have given the Peppol model of e-invoice implementation. So can you? So what is this Peppol? What is this authority about?
Okay, this Peppol stands for Pan European Public Procurement Office. This is what the Peppol word means.
Is it an authority or is it a framework?
It's an authority where they have formed a framework, structured way of doing things, and it is for it is adopting a global standard of things. Where every registered Peppol registered business will be listed over there, and it will be easily verified and identified using a unique ID across the globe.
Okay, so is that since the logic says that UAE adopts Peppol model, meaning we have to mandatorily follow Peppol framework, or the framework issued? Is there a framework issued by the Peppol for the invoice mechanism, or the framework is up to the control of UAE ministry?
No, the framework is being designed by Peppol, and UAE is also acknowledging that framework and adopting that framework. Which is seamlessly can be controlled in the centralized system.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Mr. JK, what are the major phases of or timeline in implementing e-invoicing?
Yeah, with respect to timeline, UAE ministry has issued a guideline. See, it's not complex. Starting from now in mostly 18 months or 19 months time, the whole society, the business society is going to be, it's mandatory that they should implement the e-invoicing. Okay. Ideally, the e-invoice generation starting from 1st of January 2027 onwards. But in between, there are 2-3 phases of appointing ASP. There is a mechanism or a system called appointing an ASP, approved ASP. The first phase is that any company or an entity whose turnover is more than 50 million, they should appoint the ASP before 31st of July 2026. That is the first phase.
Yeah.
Then second phase is mostly related to companies whose turnover is less than 50 million, or if it is a government entity or it's a government controlled entity.
Okay.
Both are falling under the deadline of 31st of March 2027 for appointing the ASP.
Okay.
That's regarding the appointing ASP. But with respect to e-invoicing, the actual implementation, it originally starts from 1st of January 2027 for the first category, those whose turnover is more than 50 million.
Okay.
And for the other thing, other category, this is commencing from 1st of June 2027. And for government entity or the government controlled entity, this has been starting from 1st of October 2027. So in brief, if you're talking about the timeline or the time frame from now, in 18-19 months time, the whole society has been mandatorily implementing e-invoicing in the country. But keep in mind, the announcement is that this is applicable only to B2B category cases.
Okay.
There is no B2C at the moment.
At the moment.
The framework clearly mentioned that there is no invoicing at the moment for B2C category. It is applicable to B2B category only.
Okay. Great. Is this the general question in this community is that whether UAE business community is ready to adopt e-invoicing?
See, if you ask me that question, I would say that partly ready. The reason being, by the introduction of VAT in the country or by the introduction of corporate tax in the country recently, we have gone through a lot of restructuring, or the business community has gone through a lot of restructuring. However, e-invoicing is a different topic. It's not connected to corporate tax, or it's not directly or indirectly connected to any other taxes. It's a different model of compliance mechanism in the country. So having said this is a different model, the compatibility issue, which means the system compatibility issue, that's the main important topic, or the challenges I would say that any business entity is going to face in UAE. Mostly my system, I feel that my system is okay to proceed with the invoicing, because many of my clients are telling me that, Mr. JK, my system, I don't need to worry about my system. I have Oracle system, I have ERP system, I have a big software company, no problem. But if you deep dive into the readiness for the e-invoicing, mostly that compatibility issue will be facing. Exactly, that is what the main challenge.
Yeah.
And then another challenge would be, or another problem they're going to face would be the data accuracy. Yeah, about the data accuracy. Data accuracy is an important question, because the more you provide the wrong data, probably you are getting an output with the wrong. It's like giving a garbage in, again, automatically you should expect only garbages.
Correct.
So same thing. Yeah. The data accuracy is very important. And another point is going to be integration of your current systems with the e-invoice framework.
Correct.
Or the other formats.
Yeah.
That is also going to be a little tricky. You have to be ready with synchronizing the current system with the Peppol systems or the e-invoicing framework. And mostly I have seen that, because of VAT, we have already mapped the VAT system. Yeah, because of the VAT, we have configured the invoice system in the system in the company. But you have to revalidate that. By the introduction of e-invoices, unless you revalidate the tax codes you already set in the system, you may end up with the wrong e-invoice mechanism, or you may end up with the wrong e-invoicing. So to avoid that, you have to have a clear verification on your tax codes, current tax codes. Very important.
Correct.
Another challenges you are going to face would be your readiness of your IT systems. Current IT systems may not sync with the proposed e-invoice plan or the framework. You have to ensure that the IT systems are, because mostly if you see any client, if you ask them, I have a good server, I have a good database, good software, good people, agreed. But for the e-invoicing mechanism, this needs a separate, environmental. You have to create it. If you don't have that mechanism, you have to hire someone who can help you in fixing it. That's very important. And then mostly the other challenges which I have seen in many of my clients' premises are that they're not trained. The professional, there is no IT trained professionals for invoicing, or even the accountants. Finance managers are not trained.
Correct.
So basically, if you are not trained on invoicing, you will have a very general perception that this is going to be simple, or you may end up with some mistakes. Correct. So basically, these are the main challenges I would foresee in UAE. So if you ask me the question, is UAE completely ready for invoicing? Yes, partly ready because of the other regulations in place for the recent years. Yes, agreed. But they have to do a lot of
So within each
revalidation.
business, there are some challenges which they need to identify and fix it for the fastest
Exactly.
train which they are going to onboard.
Yes.
Okay.
And Mr. Vimal, I would
Yeah.
like to ask you a question that, I was talking about challenges or the difficulties or the problems which the country or I was discussing about the country is ready or not. So once we fix it in the system, normally, the company will be commencing with the e-invoicing. So what are the benefits a company or an organization is going to get by successfully implementing an e-invoicing framework?
Great. See, you addressed the right challenges. So in these challenges, if they are fixing those challenges, they are going to be very minimum error. So the human intervention during this entire process is going to be stopped. It is going to be completely automated. So the moment the invoice is submitted, it is going to be passed through all these 5 corner models, and it is going to be delivered to the customer, and acknowledgement will be received by the sender.
So there is no human intervention anymore.
No human intervention in between these process 5 corner model process. So the moment you submit, it is going to be like a onboarding a fast hyperloop train. It is going to be returned back to you within 30 seconds or with less than a minute time. You are going to get an acknowledgement saying that it has been delivered successfully or not. So that way you can do lesser errors in these methods. And your validation, there will be a lot of validation before you submit the invoices has to be done on your system, because your system is going to be the corner one model. So then again the second level validation will be done by your Peppol approved service provider. So they will be also doing a validation. So within 30 seconds everything will be done. And in this process, you are going to have a lot of validation checks will be done from your system, your end itself. So there is no chance of becoming errors. Right. So you are going to adopt a global framework. So you are becoming your VAT invoices will be delivered to the customer on a more accurate manner. So these are the benefits you are going to get. And also the collection. Because always the challenge in the UAE business is that the customer always says that I didn't receive your invoice on time. I don't know where to look for it, and I lost my invoice. Can you resend the invoice? These are the common challenges the customer. Or
sometimes the excuses.
Excuses, yes. The customer will tell to the other party, right? So in this method, they are not going to say that. They don't have the invoice, because you have the
it's
proof
already
that,
in your system.
Yes, you have the proof that they have received those invoices. They have to just verify and download it and do the payment for you. So it is going to be the payment collection will be happening much more faster method adopting.
Yes, you were mentioning, Mr. Vimal, about high-speed mechanism. Yeah, it's like a hyperloop or a high-speed train.
Yes.
The moment you say it's a high-speed, probability of high-speed errors can also happen. Yeah, including the data privacy related issues.
Yes.
See, the country, our UAE has a very strict law on data privacy.
Correct, exactly.
And data sharing.
Yeah.
So having said it's a hyperloop or it's a fast-moving service or an activity, it happens in 30 seconds or 60 seconds, whatever you mentioned. So data is, my data is going to someone else.
Yeah.
Or I can configure it in my system. I can directly control it. In case I'm appointing a third-party agent to control it, my data is going to the agent. Agent share the data to the Peppol system, and eventually it comes to the FTA. So how do you ensure that this mechanism, make sure the data privacy?
Yes, exact question. So this UAE is appointing these approved service providers for this region. So these service providers are going through a vigorous validations and checks before they getting approved by UAE FTA, so that they will be having all the integration and encryption checks will be conducted on the systems which approved service providers are using. So they have been tested by the FTA authority, and also they have to use some kind of a encryption method all when they are communicating between different systems. So to ensure the data privacy for the UAE as well as the global framework, because your invoicing, suppose your invoicing is going outside the country, also has to be transferred in a secure manner. So these kind of service providers communication channels has been validated by the government authorities, and they will be tested for the data privacy concerns, and it's made sure that it is going in a validated manner.
So is it a one-time check by the FTA, or is it going to be an ongoing
No, it's going to be
checking?
an ongoing effort. Every year they have to go through vigorous changes, changes in the Peppol side, also on the FTA side. The regulations are going to keep on upgrading. So these kind of level of security checks are going to keep on increasing. As a security threat also getting increased, these kind of level of security measures also will keep on increasing year by year, or quarterly by quarterly. These kind of checks will be done.
Vimal, let me ask you a question in between before we come to the next topic. We were, again, next to Peppol, always we are getting, hearing about ASP, ASPs.
Yeah.
So I know the terminology is approved service provider.
Correct.
Or accredited service provider, whatever it may be, with the FTA. So can you brief about it? Who is an ASP, and what is the role in the e-invoice mechanism?
Yeah. So like we explained in the 5-corner model, the corner 2 in perspective of UAE businesses, the corner 2 and the corner 3 will be your approved service provider. That means UAE government is going to do validation checks on these kind of approved provider on their systems and their applications, and they will be approved to do as a service provider for UAE businesses. So the UAE business, each UAE VAT registered business has to appoint one of the approved service provider approved by UAE government. So then they have to select them for their e-invoicing business. So each UAE VAT registered business will get to choose one of their favorable
of the ASPs. So you are trying to say that ASPs are going to be listed in the FTA's portal.
Correct.
So the client should choose one of the ASPs.
Yes.
It's a mandatory process, right?
Correct.
Without an ASP, you cannot proceed.
So that means each business has to appoint one of the approved service provider from the list of FTA.
So what is their role into the whole mechanism? ASP's role?
No, ASP will be making sure that your systems are connected to their system seamlessly, and also you have to receive backs. Suppose you are a customer, so both businesses are inside our country. Imagine that the sender and the buyer and the seller is inside UAE, and both are using different service providers.
Service providers, yes.
A list of approved service providers. From that, they are using 2 different service providers. They will be asked to seamlessly communicated over the Peppol network, right? So this will be taken care by the service provider systems. So the service provider system has to communicate with your ERP system, also with another Peppol approved service provider also.
Service provider.
Hope I answered the question.
Yes, that's very clear. But, see, my clients are asking me sometimes, can I delegate my responsibility to an ASP? Because that was a question which, when the VAT was introduced in the country, there is a mechanism of registered approved tax agent.
Correct.
Clients are having a myth, or there is a myth in the market that, I can transfer my tax obligation to the registered tax agent. If I don't pay, they will pay.
Correct.
So similarly, for an ASP, if I'm not compliant, can I shift my liability to ASP? I think, as you rightly said, no. The compliance is the responsibility of the company.
Right.
But ASP is there to help us in fixing it. Yeah, that is what you were trying to say.
Correct. And also, when we should start preparing, when the UAE business has to start.
See,
preparing.
that's a good question, because in UAE, everything, business community is mostly waiting for the last minute. Even I have seen the corporate taxes. September 30 was the deadline, and then mostly people were waiting till September 27, 28, 29, and then on last dates, system is crashed. So they may fail on that.
Correct.
It's like telling that, early renewal of your passport.
Yeah.
That the passport expiry date.
Yeah.
So you have to do it early. That's it. Don't wait for the last moment. The problem in e-invoicing is you have to have a clear, 2-3 milestones, including ASP appointment, system integration, synchronization, training, pilot process, and final implementation. So these are going to take some time. whatever the concrete software mechanism you follow or whatever the knowledge you have now, it's going to take some time. So if you wait for the last moment, say I was trying to say the roadmap of 1st January 2027 or March 31st of 2027 or even October 2027, see those are the last dates. If you wait for the last dates, probability is that you may end up with some errors or you're not able to fix it properly. So I would suggest that start the process now, identify a proper ASP, and then ensure that all the alignment of the tax law in your computer systems have been properly fixed.
Okay.
Don't wait for the last minute.
Correct.
We were discussing about Vimal the readiness, challenges, readiness of e-invoicing implementations in UAE. So from a IT perspective or as a technology expert's perspective, what are the best practices or the readiness which a businessman should follow in the country for implementing e-invoicing in your organization?
Correct. So when you're choosing the right service provider for your business, you need to decide which ERP system currently which you're using, whether it is going to support the UAE 5 corner model or not. So there are very small businesses which they don't have to change their system, right? They can adopt a best service provider, and that service provider system supports them in processing their invoicing through their portal manually, in a manual fashion. So that means they can log into their service provider system and they can create the invoice in their system rather than creating in their local systems. Also, this method also can be adopted. So
that's
the very small business.
Yeah, it's for even for a small business.
Very small business. So they don't have to look for the integration point of view. Right? And whenever they want to know the status of their invoice, they can log in and they will be able to see, or they will receive an email saying that whether your invoice was successfully delivered or not. So those kind of manual methods are also possible. And where the matured business in UAE is having some kind of a robust ERP system which they have, so any robust system, so that robust system can be fully integrated with your service provider systems. So it can be, you can receive the acknowledgements in a seamless fashion on inside your ERP itself. So they have to make sure that these kind of checks, the systems has been has to be tested by your approved service providers, and then they will make sure that which model you have to follow. Right? So there are going to be various checks around. I heard that it is around 50 plus checkpoints has to be validated.
Data points, I would say.
Data points has to be validated before you onboard into this e-invoicing system.
Is that data point is a complex part? Meaning it's available data, right? Available data in the system, but again that should be configured properly to capture into the e-invoicing.
Yes. So it means that it has to be in a structured format. So that structured format is readily available inside your current system or not, has to be validated by your approved service provider.
So that is the readiness which you were discussing about. So
Correct.
So which means this is mandatory for every business organization, right? That checkpoints are going to be for every, because though your turnover size is less or more, whatever.
Yes.
These 50 checkpoints are going to happen.
Correct.
So you have to have that format, so the system ready from your computer system that should go in that format.
Correct.
So those should be properly validated. By an ASP, and then it should be again revalidated on an ongoing basis.
Correct. That ongoing validation will be done through the system automatically. But the initial readiness and the gap assessment has to be done by your provider, and necessary changes has to be done on your system or your end. Then you can onboard into the e-invoicing system.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Mr. JK, how this business is going to get started immediately? Do you have any recommended action plans?
See, if you ask me that question, I would say that, in simple, there are 6 steps to be followed. I was mentioning about the readiness earlier. How are you ready? Right. Then we have to have some checkbox.
Yes.
So if I would go into that or deep dive into that, I can classify those into 5 or 6 categories. So first point you have to check is whether your invoicing. See, you have to make sure that you have a proper invoicing system working in your organization. That's very important. What is the invoicing system? Are you following an e-invoicing system? I mean, not an e-invoicing system, a basic invoicing structure or the system is followed. That's a basic question. Number 2 is your accounting system, current accounting system. Is that, aligned with the e-invoicing formats? That is also an important point, because if that is not aligned, then you will be finding very difficulty because we were discussing about the formats, checkpoints and formats. So how are we going to convert the accounting data into that format? That's a question. So are you aligned with that? Is also a question to be answered. Now, the third one would be mostly related to pilot train. See, once you introduce all these or implement all these, you have to do a pilot testing.
True.
Pilot testing is very important. Ensure that you are getting an accurate data, output is correct. The system is properly processing it, because you were mentioning about 30 seconds time or whatever the time frame, within that time frame it successfully operates and the functions are performing. That's very important. And then the training. As I initially mentioned, in UAE mostly we feel that we know e-invoicing, but it's not like the way we are thinking. The FTA has issued a clear framework or a guideline, what model you should follow, what are the steps to be followed.
Correct.
So it's not only an accountant's role. E-invoicing is not only an accountant's role. It's a mix of many professions. IT profession should be involved.
Correct.
Finance profession is involved. Accounting profession is involved. A lot. Even sometimes, it can capture up to even HR systems as well. Sometimes to process the data or get the data from the HR systems as well. So having said, it's a complex, it's a mix of many service providers. So the training should be comprehensive to cover all these, the parties involved on it. Because unless you train them properly, implementation is going to be very difficult. And finally, once the training is over, then you have to finally test it again to ensure that this has been properly implemented and it's been working as per the framework issued by the Federal Tax Authority. That is the last stage. So overall, if you see that starting from invoice checking until the whole e-invoicing mechanism works, you have to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can configure it in 5 or 6 steps. That is the model you should follow, or every organization should follow this model. Otherwise, you are going to end up with some trouble. And we are discussing about e-invoicing, the methodology of e-invoicing introduction, the model we follow, what are the challenges, how to recover the challenges, and what are the readiness you should do it. But my customers or HLB's customers are asking a question to me. Mostly they are asking a question that, sir, or Mr. JK, this is going to be expensive. E-invoicing again, should I pay any additional taxes from my pocket?
It's a very common question.
It's a very common question. I said, no, it's not a tax payout mechanism. You're already paying taxes, no need to worry. Keep in mind, it's not a tax paying mechanism, but then what is the other cost? What are the other costs, or what should be my investment? Minimum investment. So it can vary from company to company, but as a technology expert, I just wanted to listen from you that at the technology perspective, at least, what cost a company should incur, before they implement the e-invoicing in the systems.
Correct. So we were initially discussing about the readiness, right? So when we are doing a readiness checks, which is called as a gap assessment, so there is going to be some changes will be identified in your current system. If you are planning to do a full integrated method of tax e-invoicing, correct? So then this readiness is going to be a one-time cost for you. Correct. So these companies has to do some changes in their current system. So your ERP vendor or the service provider, approved service provider, is going to charge you for these kind of changes. So there will be a one-time charges for your business. And
is that going to be heavy?
No. It's going to be very minimum. It's going to be very minimum. Like I would suggest that around 1 week of efforts. Maximum of 1 week of efforts of changes might happen in this region if your system is almost ready to integrate with the Peppol approved service provider. Right. So then another cost is going to come is that your number of invoices which is going to come in the monthly, right?
So based on your volume. How is it linked with the number of invoices?
Yes. The Peppol system, when your e-invoicing is adopted by your business, you need to pay some kind of a subscription charges to your service provider, where number of invoices what you are processing, not only sending, whatever you are receiving also will be charged.
Okay.
So the in and out of invoices will be
But those
charged.
are ongoing, right?
Yeah, those are ongoing.
Once the e-invoicing is implemented, post-implementation, I would say.
Correct. So once the deadline has been started, once you say the July 2026, once this date is started, your counting will be started. So your subscription charges, you have to appoint the vendor, and your subscription will be start deducting from number of messages what you are going to receive. Suppose if you are, for example, if you are sending an invoice to a client and that customer rejects it, it is going to cost you for that invoice. And again, you have to resend the corrected invoices. So that also will be costing you.
So there are costs involved.
Yeah,
it's not
but in
free
a
of cost.
minor, it's going to be very minor. It's not going to be a major cost. And plus, what all savings you are going to do. So you are not going to print. You are not going to send this or by post or courier to the customer. So all those savings you are currently going to do, and no longer it is manually done. So it is completely digital, more accurate, more verified manner. You are going to do the processing of this invoicing. So that is going to help you a lot in a longer run. Not in a shorter term. Yes, initial onboarding is going to cost you something, and regular maintenance of this ERP system is going to cost you something. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Vimal, for your insightful, thoughtful, technology-driven, advices.
Hope my information is helpful for everyone.
Yes, sure. So thank you so much for listening us. Hope we could decode it, the e-invoicing mechanism, and in case more clarification, we are always ready to support you. So please be in touch with HLB HAMT for further support for any of the client in UAE. Thank you so much.